Some things make sense in your head until you speak it out loud.
Trust me, some of us know that all too well. Now, if I ask you to evaluate, you really had to be here. 25 to the 1/2. Do it on a tweet. All right. Yeah. What does 25 to the 1/2 mean?
That means
The square root of 25.
there's a square. It's squared.
It's understood to have an index of 2, so it's the square root of 25 to the first, so that's just what?
5. That was easy. We gave you some of this argument. I can figure that one out.
That's cool? What if I have negative 169, oh my gosh, to the 1/2, bless you.
Okay. That's 1, 2, square root of -1.
Now, notice the power's on the 169, so the negative is outside.
Oh, there's outside.
Remember? You have to know order of operations. So what do we get here?
169.
You get negative 13.
So it's understood that the thing is on the outside.
That would be opposed to me doing something like this. If I have
Oh,
negative
I see.
8 to the 1/3 power.
I'm gonna do that one too.
So when the negative is inside the parentheses, what's going to happen here? What does this look like?
So it's third cube, negative 8.
Third cube? No, we say this as the cube root.
Cube root of 8. Negative 8.
Cube root of negative 8 is what?
It's 2.
Nope. Try again.
Negative 2.
It's negative 2.
But okay. But had that been 1/2, like the third problem.
Ooh, if that had been
it's
1/2,
positive 2.
if this had been a 1/2, that would have been the square root of a negative number and would
Oh,
not
that
be
would
real.
Non-real numbers.
And at the, next week we'll really talk about what that is. Question, Singria.
Let's do another one.
Let's do the interesting ones.
I haven't got this down yet.
How about 216 to the 2/3? So you know you're talking about the cube root, right? Now you've got two choices here. Do you want it to be 216 squared, or do you want to do the cube root first and then square? Okay. Now if you have a list of your squares and cubes, it's really easy to work out, and you'll work this stuff out. What's the cube root of 216?
6.
And then what's 6 squared? 36.
Okay, now I got it. I see it. I can see it.
And then we're done.
We don't have homework for this. We should get homework.
Look at your lab handouts.
If it's not due for a grade, I'm not going to.
Hmm?
Is your handout supposed to be seen?
Mm-hmm. 16 to the 5/4. What does this mean?
The 4 on the outside is the index.
You mean the 4th root.
With 16 in the middle, the 5th power.
So I'm going to raise this whole guy to the 5th power because I'm going to tell you right now, you probably do not know what 16 to the 5th is.
No one knows.
No one knows that. TI 83 knows it. What's the 4th root of 16? 2, and what's 2 to the 5th? 2 to the 5th is 32.
And we can't use calculators.
I don't see a need for calculators yet.
No need, might need for you.
All right, hold on to your hats. If I have negative, or if I have 32 to the negative 3/5 power.
Okay, it has to be
So you're saying the fifth root of 32, and then this is to the negative third power. Do y'all agree? It's negative power, so it goes back to stuff we did in 03 away. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. What's the fifth root of 32? That's 2. Now, how do I work out 2 to the negative third? How do I do it the right way?
I thought, see, with my notes, I have you put 1 over that. It's supposed to be 1 over B or A, which is 2 to the third power.
Right, 1 over 2 to the
I
third.
did that on the test. You know,
That's because you were not doing that right. So then 1 over 2 to the third is what?
2 to the third power is 8. 1 over 8.
So the answer is 1 over 8. You guys with me on that? Now, let me show you that you can do this on your graphing calculator. You can do exponents just like we've been doing them here. Like you can do 25. Here's your exponent button right here. But you have to make sure that you don't do 1 divided by 2, because the answer is 12.5 if you do it that way. Okay? That's not what you're trying to say. If I do it this, basically I told the calculator to take 25 to the first power and then divide the whole thing by 2. Come on now. It's 25 raised to the 1 divided by 2, like that. There's your 5. If I have the 216 raised to the 2/3 power in parentheses, I get 6. I've got 16 raised to the 5/4 power. Isn't 5/4 larger than 1? That means you should come up with an answer that's bigger than what you started with. Because what's 16 to the first power? 16 to a larger power should be even bigger.
18.
So 32.
It doubled.
If I have 32 raised to the negative 3/5 power, I get 0.25. That's not what you had.
That's 1 over 8.
Convert that to a fraction. You get 1 over 8. We all cool with that?
On the state test that we take for all kinds of things, you can use a graphic calculator, can't you? Have it.
On the final exam, you can, yes.
Oh, on the final, I was talking about the state test.
No, it's not a state test.
I know it's not a state test, I'm just saying like for future.
That's great for if you're taking a state test.
You can use graphic calculator.
Sure, I guess. I don't know. I don't know too much about the state. If I do negative 5 squared, what's the answer?
25 negative.
Negative 25. Because see, it does the exponent and then it does the negative. If you'd want a negative 5 squared to get positive 25 in parentheses, which is why when I had negative 169 raised to the 1/2 power, I get negative 13 because it would do the 1/2 before it does the negative. It does the power before it does the negative.